Flosstube. I'm just sitting here stitching a little bit because my family is out of the house right now. My two boys went over to have dinner at their grandma's house this afternoon, or this evening, and my husband's not home from work yet, so I had a little bit of time to kill. So I'm just stitching, and I'm stitching on one of my oldest, if not my oldest whip. Actually, okay, I have an older one than this. I really need to get to that. It's called Chickadees on a Branch. I think it's a Dimensions kit. Yeah, that's a Dimensions kit. That's really my oldest, and it has been being stitched for many years now. I think in 2010 I stitched it, and I didn't do the back stitching on it because it calls for couching, and I was terrified to try that because I didn't know how I was supposed to do that. And so all these years have gone by, and it's been tucked away in a drawer because I didn't want to do the couching on it. So I think what I need to do is turn on my backstitch with me video that I made and backstitch with myself and get that thing backstitched because, my gosh, 2010, it's now 2017. Yeah, overdue for that. Anyway, then I started either the Eagle project. What is that one called? Majestic Eagles, I think. I either started that one next or this one. Both of them, probably 2011, I think I started. And I'll insert a picture of where this was because I worked on it. Because I wanted to backstitch as I went along. So I did all of these birds and did the roof, and then I had to backstitch the roof. And I know I've talked about this in a previous video, but in case you're just joining me, I had a hard time backstitching it because it kind of called for these really long stitches of backstitching, and no matter if I tacked them, well, you can't really see. If I tacked them, you know, they would be kind of jagged looking, and I just never was happy with the way it did, and so I put this project away, and it literally, I haven't worked on it for quite some time, many years. We're talking few years, but on Instagram and on Flosstube here, I've been watching Michelle at Gingerbread Stitcher 11, I think it is. Hi, Michelle. And she's been working on this project, and she's just, you know, chipping away at it, and every time she completes a bird, she posts it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I've got to get mine out. I love that project. It's so colorful, and it was a Christmas gift from one of my sons when I got it, and it was, you know, it seemed so daunting at the time. It seemed like such a huge project, and it really isn't compared to, you know, since then I've learned a lot, like Heaven and Earth designs, and, you know, I've learned what really intricate projects are. So, you know, I've gained some experience since I last worked on this. So I did drag it out. I finished my Mourning Doves, the one that I was doing the back stitching on, and I don't have it next to me here, but I'll show that in my next clip that I do. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So I've been inspired by watching Gingerbread Stitcher work on hers, and having a hot flash. Excuse me while I reach an internal temperature of 350 degrees. Sorry. I know there's a few of you out there that can relate. Anyway. Oh, what was I saying? Mind. So I've been inspired by her, and I finished my Mourning Doves, and I said I am going to start to tackle those old projects of mine, and I am bound and determined to work on this. I did the Mourning Doves I had mentioned to you. I stitched that pretty much from start to finish, and then I started working on this one, and so far I don't feel like stopping, so I'm gonna just keep working on it, and I'm becoming lately a monogamous stitcher, and that's okay. I'm gonna go with it as long as it lasts. Stitch Maynia is starting soon, and I have never done Stitch Maynia, and I'm ever so slightly tempted to do it this year, but you know, I think I'm just gonna stick with my one project at a time while that hits me. Maybe I'll go shopping and buy something every day for Stitch Maynia, because we could use our own interpretation of it, right? So maybe I should do that. I haven't really got anything for myself for my birthday yet, so, but I have a feeling I know what I'm going to get. I'll talk about that if I get it. So, just real quick, I'll show you where I'm at with this now. I have stitched. So as you can see, I went ahead, well, I solved my dilemma with the stitching, back stitching on the roof. I ended up doing just a really long stitch. I just kind of came up here, went down there, and then I just sort of stepped back and did a little couching. So now I know how to couch. I feel very comfortable with couching now, so I can go back and, you know, I mean, I don't even know if I'm doing couching the right way. I was doing a way that works, so I don't know. Maybe I just kind of came up, wrapped, tucked the thread around and went back down. I think I was going right back down the same hole. Now that may not have been right, you know, but if I didn't pull it too hard, if I went next to it, you could see the little couch, you could see the little spot that I tacked it, but when I went down the same hole, it kind of blended in. So you can kind of see. I'm happy with it, you know. It's one of those things you just have to do it and move on and, you know, work on something else. So I'm back stitching as I go along on this, because this is one of those where it would just be too daunting when I'm done. So it's kind of nice that I've back stitched all this. So I think it was about right here, and I hadn't had this bird completed, if I showed you the picture correctly. So what I'm going to do is, or what I had decided to do was stitch all of the non-bird related. So I wanted to get all the feeder and the pole done. So that's what I worked on. And this here is a little, like a suet ball, a feed ball, seed ball, whatever you call suet ball. There and here, you can see the silhouette of the bird there. So I have completed all of the stitching for the pole, and all that's left now to do are 11 birds. There's about 4 or 5 birds across here. There's a bird here, a bird here. You can kind of see I'm starting to work on this bird that's going to go here, just because I'm dying to do the back stitching around those 2 little peanuts right there. And in order to do that, I obviously have to get the bird done. So that's the bird I'm doing next. And you can see the silhouette, the bird there, and then I think there's going to be a bird here, a bird here, and a bird here. So I've got to a good spot on this, because I'm really to the point now where I can just stitch a bird, you know, stitch a bird and back stitch a bird, and they don't look real difficult. Each bird calls for maybe about 4 or 5 colors or so, and not a whole lot of back stitching. So we'll see where I go with this, if I'm going to continue on and just do all the birds, or if I'm going to do this bird and then I'll back stitch him and back stitch those peanuts there, and then I might put it away and work on the back stitching of that really old project of mine, or not. I'm gonna see how I feel. If I feel like working on this one, I'll just keep chopping away at those birds and get this one done. So I'll see where I go with it, but it's kind of fun because it'll be like little mini finishes doing each of the little birds. So I'll show you the picture again just so you can kind of see where all the birds are. So you can see the 2 hanging there, and then this bird. This is by dimensions. I cut it off because I needed it to fit in my Ziploc bag. Is it dimensions? Yeah. I'm sure this is a dimensions kit. I don't know if it's a dimensions gold, but just dimensions. Feasting Frenzy, it's called. So, yeah, fun little project. It'll be done. It's good to finally get that done. I think that's all I have to say for now. I'm just going to continue on stitching with that. And I don't know if there was anything else I had to say. Oh, I was going to do a couple of shout outs, and I didn't write their names down. A couple of, so Gingerbread Stitcher is one that you should check out if you haven't checked her out yet. Like I said, she's also working on this. And, oh yeah, I have a video, if you may have seen it. It's, I did all of my little video of all my Halloween finishes and fall finishes, and I got somebody left a comment on that, and she said, oh, it's so inspirational. And I noticed usually when somebody leaves a comment, if I'm on my phone or if I have time to do it, I usually check right away to see when somebody leaves a comment if they're a Flosstuber, and then I subscribe to them right away. But anyway, I noticed her name was the Haunted Bat. I don't know her real name. Hi, Haunted Bat. Anyway, so you have to go check out a channel that's named the Haunted Bat. So I did, and I'm going to put a link for her channel below. I absolutely love her. She is just as cute as a bug. I don't know if she would like to be called cute as a bug, but she is. She loves Halloween. She loves bats, and I went and clicked on her channel. She just recently started actually doing Flosstube videos, even though she has done a couple of videos in the past that showed her stitching, but she does officially now started doing actual Flosstube videos. She does other stuff just about kind of like jewelry, kind of gothic type style. I don't know, I guess that's what you call that, kind of Halloween-ish gothic type stuff. And anyway, she did start to do some Flosstube, but she has stitched some of the Mill Hill buttons and beads kits, and she did a couple of the Halloween ones that I've seen in the past. I think it was Ghost Dance, and I don't know which one with the trick-or-treaters. You know, and those are one of those kits that I say it time and time again, those Mill Hill kits, it doesn't do them justice. The pictures don't do them justice. But anyway, she stitched them, and I immediately, that when I said I was going to go and buy some stuff for my birthday, I have a feeling, and now I have like a whole bunch of the Mill Hill buttons and beads on my wish list. I just have to narrow it down to the few that I want most, but I really loved the way hers looked, and she has them all framed, and they're just so bright and colorful, and they look so fun, and I can just totally see those hanging in my house around Halloween. So, and Mill Hill has some great new fall ones out with the truck, I think, that says Pumpkin Patch, and just a couple other just really cute ones. I love those. I'm definitely going to buy some of those here in the near future. And so check out her channel. And then I came across a few other ones too. I didn't write it down, but one, just because I remember her name right now, her name is StitchingJules. And hi, StitchingJules. I don't know how I came across her channel. She doesn't have, I don't think she's got a whole lot of subscribers yet, so I thought maybe I better let you know about her. She does, well, she lives in Colorado, so that's pretty cool. I don't think she lives real close to me, but starting to be quite a few of us Colorado Stitchers around. If you go check out one of her earlier videos, she releases videos I think once a week, but she's got some earlier videos, and one of them, I don't know, it's like her first or second one, she shows a piece that she had entered in the state fair, and she actually didn't win, but I am shocked. This thing is beautiful. I don't remember who the designer is, but it's like a cityscape, and it's black and white. It is amazing. She has it hanging above her head in her video, but if you watch the video where she actually shows it up close, it's just amazing. And she does those, I don't think this one was a Ronnie Rowe, and I might have that wrong, but they're like these Ronnie Rowe designs where they're kind of like black on white stitching, and she's done a few of those. But yeah, go check her out, because the other fun thing that I love about her is in every video she's wearing a new cross-stitching t-shirt, that's got some kind of cross-stitching saying on it, and I love them. So it's so fun. That's kind of just something cute that she does, and yeah, the Stitchers, you'll get a kick out of her, so go check her out. And there was another one. I don't remember who the other one is, so I'll have to get back to you on that. So this will maybe kind of have some shout outs throughout. So I'm going to keep this sort of short and get back to my stitching while I have some time to myself. And I hope you all are having a happy stitching afternoon. It is April 28th right now. So yeah, so you're all getting ready to embark on Stitch Mania, and I'm enjoying seeing what everybody's going to be working on. I'll be cheering you on from the sidelines as I'm buying things. No, I don't think I'll buy something every single day, because really that wouldn't be effective shipping, would it? So I'm just going to have to buy 15 things and have them all shipped at once. Yeah. Okay, talk to you later, guys. Bye. I'm back again. I decided to run upstairs and just get my Mourning Dove piece so that I can mark that off what I've showed you and not forget about it. So this is the finished piece right here. Ooh, let's see it better that way so the light's not shining through it. Oh, let me put something behind it here. Grab my pillow, excuse me. Need to support my horrible back with a pillow when I sit here. Okay. There we go. Give you a close-up of that if you can see with the light. So that ended up being completed. Yep. Loved that. And once again, if you're joining me for the first time, this is called Mourning Doves, and it is by the Crossed Wing Collection. Absolutely loved stitching this. What I'm going to do with it, I don't know. Kind of looks good as a pillow, doesn't it? Let's see. Let's see what this would look like as a cushion. Yeah, kind of nice, huh? I could see kind of cozying up to that, huh? We'll see. I don't know. I usually want to put everything as a cushion because I just don't have a lot of wall space right now to... Oh, and I stitched a little date on the side there because I just didn't know where to put it to where it looks good. I always struggle with where to put the date on my projects. I love when I do, but then it's like, where do I put it? Do I put it here? Do I put it there? Do I put it there? So I figured I might start doing that, guys. You know, for those of us that struggle with the dates, you know, maybe if you're going to frame something or do something with it, if you just tuck a little date in somewhere, that way if somebody ever does unframe it, you know, years down the road, they find your piece of work at the Goodwill and they want to know when it was stitched, well, maybe if they ever take it out of the frame or do something with it, they can, you know, they'll find that little hidden treasure of a date right there. So that way it's not visible, but it is with the project. If by any, you know, at the very least I put it there just so that I will remember when I stitched it. So yeah, I kind of thought that was a little cool thing. I should at least start doing that with my projects, just somewhere off to the side, somewhere in the seam. Put that. So one more quick thing that made me come back on is because in my last video, you know, I'm sure you're probably all tired of hearing it, but April the giraffe, I was obsessed with that camera, watching it 24/7, and I think shortly after I made my last video, she went into labor, and right before, let's see, so she went into labor on a Saturday morning, right, she had the baby, she had her baby giraffe on a Saturday morning, but Friday, the day before, she was pacing a lot, and everybody was getting antsy because they're like, oh, it looks like April's, you know, it's going to be happening soon, it's going to be happening soon. So I searched and searched to look for some kind of a giraffe cross stitch, and I didn't bring the magazine down. I think it's in issue 231 of World of Cross Stitch, and I know that. I happen to have that one because that's the same one that Blackwork Hummingbird is in. And I remember when I got that magazine that I remembered seeing the giraffe pattern in there. So I went. It has a giraffe, a mother, and a baby, but that looked a little too intricate. I wanted to stitch something just to sort of commemorate my obsession with it and maybe make a Christmas ornament out of it. So if you've seen me on Instagram, I saw this on Instagram, you'll see that I stitched this little commemorative April the giraffe. Oh, she's so cute. It looks just like her too. Spitting image. They could be related. So I was torn with wanting to stitch the little baby giraffe too, you know, and I still may. And then Garrett over at Coffee Stitcher. Hi Garrett, you showed oh my gosh, an adorable giraffe pattern that you just got. And I can't remember, I think it was by Tempting Tangles. So right after your video, I went and tried to order one off of 123 Stitch, and it was out of stock. So I think maybe I wasn't the only one that went there right after your video to get that. So anyway, I probably still will get that one. I'm giraffe obsessed now. So as a matter of fact, I noticed that my zoo, there's a local zoo here in Colorado, not the Denver Zoo, but the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. They have a whole bunch of giraffes that you can go and feed, and I have never gone down to that zoo, but I was looking, and they have a giraffe cam also, and one of their giraffes just gave birth to a baby giraffe yesterday. So I could like drive down there and go see it. And then when I was on their website, I found out that you can actually adopt a giraffe. And for $55, they go start anywhere from 30 on up. But for $55, the proceeds will go for giraffe conservation and to help Cheyenne Mountain. So I don't know exactly where it goes, but you get a giraffe stuffed animal. You get a certificate of adoption kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind of cute. It's a kind of cute way to donate money. And yeah, I'm all about the giraffes now. Is she just adorable? I'm going to put the name April 2017 here because I stitched it in April. So it'll be like I stitched this in April. But I'll always know too that the name of the giraffe that inspired this was April. So I'll make a Christmas ornament. I went to the store to try to find some kind of giraffe ribbon to finish this with, and some giraffe, and all the giraffe stuff's gone, guys. I'm not the only one. It's like there were ribbons, and the one that said giraffe was all out of stock. So I'm not the only one going giraffe crazy. So designers out there, if you want to make some money, you should design some giraffe-related patterns. I think you'll make some money on it. So anyway, yeah, that was fun. They turned the camera off, and now it's only on Tuesdays, so I have my alarm set. So every Tuesday, I'm going to watch Baby Giraffe, who doesn't have a name yet. Yeah, so that's it. That I'm really going to go now, but I just had to share that with you because I loved that little pattern. And okay, I'm done now. Talk to you later. Bye. Hi guys, I'm back. It's May 11th, so a little bit of time went by from my last clip that you just saw. And today was our last day of school, so another year of homeschooling under our belts. Woo! Oh, so next year I've got one going into middle school and one going into high school. So yeah, but right now we're off for summer break, and I think, oh good, we have all this time to do this and that, but I'll have all this time to stitch, but then the reality sets in and the kids get bored, and then they want to go places and they want to go swimming, and then vacations, and then we're more busy in the summer than we are during the school year. So I've decided that I get more I get more stitching done when I'm homeschooling my kids than during the summer. So, but I'll still get some in. I can start, getting up a little earlier. I think our day tends to get started a little later than usual with our homeschooling schedule. It's kind of always been that way, as much as I've tried to shift our day to starting earlier because I'm a morning person. My husband is a night owl, and he has kind of sort of conditioned our boys to become night owls too, because he stays up late with them, and they just, ever since they were young, he would read to them at night, and then they were reading like all the Harry Potter series, and he's one more chapter, and they're still up late, even when they were young, or, they're always just doing kind of fun things with their dad in the evenings and stuff. So I have turned myself into a night owl, because if I want to spend time with my family, I pretty much have to become a night owl. So, but I'd like to shift that. I'd like to become a morning person, because I love mornings. I love to stitch in the mornings. I love to get up early and have coffee, but when I go to bed really late, makes it a little difficult. So it's May 11th. Happy Mania, everybody. I've been watching everybody's videos and their daily vlogs and everything, and everybody's just having so much fun. And I guess you can kind of say I succumbed to doing my form of, what did I say when I was last on? I think I said I was going to do something fun, like maybe buy 15 things for Stitch Maynia, but I don't know. Yeah, that's not maniac enough. It kind of is for me, because I don't buy a ton of stuff, but I decided, when was it? So I last spoke to you, I think my clip was the 28th or 29th of April, so it was kind of approaching the end, and I was working on my Feasting Frenzy, and I had talked about how I've just lately really been enjoying working on one project versus another, and I don't need to really remind you of this because you just heard it, so keep forgetting. You're going to see that right before this. But yes, I've been really enjoying working on one project at a time, and I think I'm going to continue doing that. So I was working on Feasting Frenzy, and I can't remember where it was the last time I showed you. I think I had still needed 11 birds to do, and I was going to do just one bird at a time, and I was going to backstitch them, and that's not really what happened. I ended up doing a lot of the lower birds, so here's my progress so far. So, because I want to backstitch as I go along, I think this was done when I last showed you, and this is all backstitched, and this is all complete up to there. There's going to be about maybe 4 or 5 more birds. You can see one there. I think one goes there, 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 and there. So those still need to be done. But then when I was down here, I did this bird. I ended up backstitching around the peanuts and everything, and finished these seed balls. So there's one more bird that goes here, but I started doing this bird, and then the cross-country person in me, stitcher in me, said, I can't, if I've already got this blue loaded on and I see that blue needs to go over there, I can't help it. I have to do that. I have to do all the blue in the area. So I ended up kind of stitching these birds simultaneously. But then I had white, and I'm like, well, okay, that bird takes white, that bird's white, that bird's white, so I did all the white. So I ended up kind of doing it cross-country and doing all those birds at once. And I was just getting ready to backstitch them, because there's not a lot of backstitching required on them. I mean, I've done more tedious backstitching than that. This bird over here was off my hoop, because you can see my hoop there, and that's the only reason why I didn't do that one, because these were kind of in my hoop, so I did that. Long story short, it was the last day of April, and I was working on this. I had just finished up the birds, and actually it was on Mania, the first day of May actually. I was finished this up, I think, and I was going to backstitch it, and then I thought, you know, it's the start of Mania. I got to do something. I got to do something to commemorate Mania, since I've never done anything with it before, and everybody's so involved with it, and I love seeing everybody's stuff. So I thought, what could I do? So I don't know who it was that first came up with Monogamous Mania. I know that the term has been thrown around by more than one person, I think. I don't want to specifically give credit to anybody, because I don't know. I just have heard people just saying, hey, I'll work on one project during Mania. And it was going to be this, and I thought, well, how much fun is that? I was just working on it. So I thought, okay, it's got to be kind of maniacal. So I thought, what can I work on? What can I pull out of my stash? I didn't want to start something new. I thought, gosh, what's my least favorite project that I've had in my past? And, well, that would be my Hade, my Heaven and Earth design that I had started, Autumn Owl Trio. And I've deemed that a UFO. I really, truly don't think I'll ever work on that again. It just was not my thing. I don't know what it was about it. I just didn't care for the tediousness of it. Just the way, maybe just the time it was in my life. Every time I think of it, I think of that neck ache I had when I was working on it, and it just gave me a neck pain that it lasted months after I stopped working on it. So I think I was just so tense and so stressed about working on that. So anyway, I'm not going to give it away, because never say never. I have given crafts away that I said I would never do again, and what now? Many years later, I regret it, and thank God, if only I had that. So I won't give it away. I'm just going to keep it until someday I may do it. So the second least favorite project of mine was one that I had started. It's a Theresa Wentzler, and it's small. No, it's not anything big. Boy, I'll tell you, I bow down to those of you that can do those big Theresa Wentzlers, because this is a tiny one, and I can see I'm on the borderline of it being a little bit too tedious for me. Anyway, it's called Theresa Wentzler, The Schoolhouse, and I got it off of Patterns Online. So it's just a PDF pattern, and I do have a digital picture of it. So first I'll show you here what it looks like. And then here, I'm going to show you here, maybe I'll just put it on while we're talking about it. I don't know, somewhere in this vicinity, I'm going to have a picture of where I left it back many years ago. I'm thinking around 2011, 2012 probably was when I started that. And as you can see, I had it gridded, and I was trying parking. I had never gridded before, and I had never parked before. So this is the project I was going to start it on, because it's not really a full coverage design, but it is in parts full coverage. And so in case you're not familiar with Theresa Wentzler, she uses a lot of blended threads and a lot of confetti stitches. So now that, in relative to the size of that, it's, you know, the whole pattern itself is probably equivalent, I'm guessing, to one page of a Heaven and Earth design. So we're not talking a really big deal here. So I thought, I'm going to pull that out, and that's what I'm going to do for Stitch Maynia. I'm going to work on that for 15 days, every day. And I set myself that I would do it at least 30 minutes. I think I even was going to start even less than that. I may have even said just need to put 15 stitches in for 15 days in a row, because I kind of thought that was going to be enough. But then I think I said, oh, maybe I'll work on it 30 minutes a day. I mean, I wanted to make it kind of a challenge. So I did pull it out, and I started working on it, and I realized what it was I could not stand about that pattern. And it was the fact that I had it gridded, because I know that you guys, some of you just swear by your gridding and you love it and it keeps you on track, but I cannot use grids. They confuse me. First of all, I don't use them, so they get in my way, and they make my project feel, I don't know, messy. They're very distracting to me. I'm like, ooh, I don't like that I gridded this. And I was thinking, I wonder if I could do this pattern, if I could take the gridding out, if I'll get completely lost with it. So I thought, well, first thing I need to do is get rid of these threads that are hanging, because parking is not for me too. I realized that. I said, I am cross country. I have to get those threads going, and I have to start them, and I have to finish them until they're done. So I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do this part. I'm going to rip out all the gridding and I'm going to cross-country it. So I got rid of all the threads that were hanging by just cross-countrying them to where they needed to go, and then I took out the grids. And it was like I put on an old comfortable slipper. I was so comfortable with it the way it is now, and I love this pattern. I love it, love it, love it. It has been no problem working on it every single day. I can't put it down. So this is where I've gotten so far. So you saw where it was. Actually, let me move my needle minder out of the way a bit here. You may have seen this. I have not, as of recording this, I haven't posted it on Instagram yet, but I think I will post a picture of it maybe after I had worked on it for 2 or 3 days. But now it's the 11th, so I've been working on this for 11 days straight, and this is where I'm at on it. So I think it's focused there, kind of, yes. So I only had just this little part done, this corner up here, when I showed you the picture that you just saw. And so since then, I have pretty much completed the house with the exception of some back stitching. There's like tiny little quarter cross stitches here, fractionals all around the side and kind of in this roof that I need to do the back stitching and the back stitching on this. But looking at it on the camera, you could really see it really shows a lot more detail. I've got some of the leaves and trees and stuff that kind of overlap right here. But as far as the schoolhouse itself, it's done. So I sort of debated whether I should save the schoolhouse and do the tree, you know, last. But you know what? I'm enjoying this. It's not bothering me at all to do that tree. I have no doubt that I'll probably get this done before Stitch Mania is done. I was going to do it just for the first 15 days. We'll see where I'm at on May 15th. And if I feel like I want to continue working on this until it's done, then I'll just work on that. But this is my Monogamous Mania pattern, and I'm so excited that I got it done because I just love that schoolhouse, that little red schoolhouse. Something about little red houses I just love. So Theresa Wentzler, the schoolhouse. I'm stitching this on, you know, anybody's guess. I started this so long ago, and I didn't. It's looks like some type of linen or something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know my fabrics, so I don't think there's anything else to say about that other than the fact that I'm loving it. I made that needle minder from a button that I found in my stash that I've had for years and years, and I thought that's perfect for that. Oh, speaking of, I made a couple of needle minders. I need to keep this short because did I already say that my kids are at their grandma's? Yes, it was our last day of school. They're spending the evening over at their grandma's house, spending time with her. She doesn't drive and doesn't get out much, so we've kind of decided we want to have them start, you know, at least every other week spend an evening with her so she can have some company with them before my teenagers get too busy for things like that. So I made some needle minders. I was talking about in my last update how I was doing some Zentangling. And if you don't remember what that is, you could just look at the video, not my backstitching video, but my last update video. And when I was in Hobby Lobby, I found these little wood pieces, wood shapes. They're tags for like mason jars, and so I don't really like the fact that they have holes in them. I'm going to look for some more wood pieces, but I wanted to experiment because I wasn't sure it would work, so I'll experiment with something that doesn't have holes in it. But I made, I just got these little wood pieces, and I just did a Zentangling design pattern on them. Just kind of freehanded it. It's not focusing very well. Kind of. Yeah, so I don't like that it has a hole in it. It looks like he has a hole in his head, but and it wasn't meant, I was really trying hard to not really give him eyes and a beak and make him look like an owl, because he's supposed to just be kind of a representation of a, you know, an abstract type owl. But I sort of, you know, I don't know. When you Zentangle, you just let the pin guide you where you want it to go. If I make a mistake, then that's that. So I stuck a needle on the back of it, and it's a little bit of a bigger needle minder. I don't usually have such big ones because I work on hoops, and so my hoops are pretty small. I mean, like this one right here, it's a small hoop, so that's like a really big needle minder for that. But I loved it. I'm going to try to find some more little just wood pieces, and I'm thinking of putting something over top of it, like I don't know if Mod Podge or something, just some kind of a protector. But cute idea. I bought a whole bunch of, there's some different shapes I have, some butterflies and things, so I made that. And then when I was in Hobby Lobby, I found some charms. You've probably seen them before. These little charms that are in the, it's like, they have like a fairy tale charms section, but that's where, not this one. This is one. I'd made a needle minder for my friend Christy like this, and I've always been meaning to make me one too. That's just a little charm. So these are charms. This one is a charm I found, but the magnet is, it's kind of a little big. You can kind of see the magnet behind it. But these are the little books, the Sense and Sensibility, Emma, and Pride and Prejudice, and they're little metal books. So, a couple cute little needle minders, and I made a frog too, but I'm not really sure I like the way it turned out because you can see his magnet too, but he's kind of a shiny little thing, sparkly little thing. Can you see that? No. I don't know. You can't really see him. He's got jewels on him, and he's shiny and sparkly. Yep, so tried my hand at those, making some more of those needle minders. And then one more thing I'm going to talk about. I did get some birthday haul. I didn't get birthday haul, I got birthday money, and then turned that money into haul. I haven't received all of it yet. Yeah, I went a little crazy for me, and now I'm having kind of buyer's remorse. I get that way. That's why I shouldn't spend money, because it's fun buying things and getting them, and then afterwards it's like, oh, now I feel guilty because now I feel like I spent the money on them. I need to stitch them, but I just love them. I love them. I'll show you, but not in this clip. I just was going to talk about, what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, so then I don't know what made me finally decide to watch it. I watched Suzette from the Primitive Stitcher. She made oh, that's right. Okay, let me get how this, I'm trying to think, how did I go down that path? This is how I went down the path. Farm Girl, Michelle, you were in your video talking about a magazine, a digital magazine that, so this is before your fabric dyeing. Okay, this was back a little while. I think the video right before that, and you were talking about your magazine that you get a lot of your primitive stitches from, and what's it called? Primitive Stitcher and Punchneedle, something like that, and you were talking about the digital magazine. Well, I just received my last Just Cross Stitch magazine, and I've decided I'm not going to renew that one because as much as I enjoy getting those in the mail, I haven't found anything really in them that I want to stitch. So I've decided to let that one go. As much as I'm sad that I won't be receiving an actual magazine in the mail, I decided I'm going to let that one go, and I think I'm going to purchase the digital magazine that Michelle Rudy talked about. That's, gosh, I wish I can remember. It's like primitive needlework and punch needle, something like that. And all the punch needle in it is beautiful. And now I've kind of got a feeling I want to try that someday. But so then I started thinking, so I'm feeling myself kind of going down that primitive route. Now, I've always loved primitive designs. Don't get me wrong. I've always loved them. I don't know why I don't ever stitch them, though. I think it's just because my house is not primitive. My husband's not primitive, you know, and I feel like they would look awkward in my house, and so I don't stitch them, but I love them, and I'm like, why don't I stitch them? I love them. I just need to stitch them. So I can feel myself kind of starting to fall down that. So I started looking at that magazine, and I thought, oh, those are great. And then I thought, gee, I could make some of my fabric, primitive looking. And I knew Suzette had done a tutorial about that a while ago, like last August. So I finally watched your tutorial, and I loved it. And I got so excited. So I went to the store, I went to Joann's, and I bought, put that away. Oh, I guess I don't really need to show you, but I bought, these are the fabrics that I got. So I did get, this is a 18 count Ada, and I got 28 count Lugana, Monaco, by Monaco, and then one of these Zweigert antique white Lugana. So I got some white fabrics to try, and then I got the stuff that she used, which was the powdered dye, which now I have learned after watching Michelle's video that this isn't ideal because of the specs that it can leave behind, but it's all I have right now. And then what else Suzette uses was vanilla, Sorry, my nose is running. And I got just a little bit of instant coffee, these little small amounts, because I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that. I'm just going to play around, so I'll buy more coffee. But my instant coffee that I buy is the Via from Starbucks, and it's too expensive to use on fabric. So I got to buy it cheap for the fabric. And then I couldn't find some of the stuff that I was looking for. I couldn't find that she had, but I found this on clearance at Hobby Lobby. It's called Jim Holt's Distressing Spray. I wonder what that is, guys. I wonder if I could do something good with that. It's like ink in a spray bottle, you know, so maybe I can just use that instead. I don't know. I'm going to play. I've tried my hand a while back before anybody was making any videos about it on doing some fabric of my own with coffee and tea, and it was kind of hit or miss, and I was baking it and doing different things, and I wasn't really completely happy with the way it turned out, so I'm anxious to try it again. So I got that, but then I watched Michelle's video, because then she came out with one, and she was talking about the liquid dyes, and so I'm definitely going to kind of take what I've learned, and then everybody's been talking about Vanna's little tutorial, something about basting and baking, and I have not found that tutorial yet. Is it a video, Vanna, or, you know what, I bet it's on your blog. Yeah, because I haven't been able to see in any of your videos that you have that, so I need to check that out, because was it Becky, the Obsessed Stitcher? Is she the one that I saw that did some basting and baking? Yes, because I think actually she put a link to your tutorial in her video, so I need to go to her video to find your video, or wherever you have that. Wow, roundabout there. So yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try to make some vintage looking fabric, and I'm gonna try to do some primitive designs, and maybe even take some. I bought some light colored like ecru floss, and I might even try to stain it too. So yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. Not a lot of stitching, but playing with some other stuff. And I think that's all until I'm going to come back with one more clip to give you, to show you some new stuff that I bought. Oh, while I was at Joann's today, I guess this is kind of considered something I bought. Oh gosh, I'm making a mess of myself. Where did it go? Oh yeah. So I think in my last clip I was talking about how all the giraffe stuff was just kind of, you know, at Joann's I couldn't find any ribbon or fabric like that. When I was there today, I found it, this fat quarter. Oh, excuse my reach. Okay. Giraffe fabric. Isn't that cute? It's a little bit bigger print than I would like, but I can find something to do with that. And then this was next to it, and I thought that was cute because I know the background on my I don't know, it kind of looks like zebra. It's kind of zebra, but it's also kind of, yeah, I guess those two kind of clash. Yeah, I'll have to find something else. I'll have to stitch a zebra now. I didn't really realize that until I held it in front of the camera. Oh, that's zebra print. It just looked like ferns when I was in the store. So I guess if you're looking at the negative space or the positive space, you see ferns or you see zebra stripes. I was kind of trying to tie in my blue fabric, though, with this. I'm not good when it comes to that, guys, you know. Vanna and Sylvia and you guys that make these beautiful finishes, it's more than just the technique. You have to know how to put things together too. You have to know what fabrics look good together. Yeah, I used to quilt. You'd think I'd be able to know how to do that. But I can spend hours and hours in the fabric store trying to figure out what goes good with what. It doesn't come natural to me, just like some people can spell really easily and some people have to work at it. You know, I go into the store and it's just trial and error. You know, I just don't know how to put things together well. You know, eventually they fall into place and then I kind of like the way they look, but it takes me a long time to get there and it's very stressful, and I think that is really why I get so stifled on finishes, is because I have the idea that I want to do and then I go to the store and I don't know how to quite get it all together and implement it as far as what looks good with what and what colors look good with what. You know, I mean, that definitely takes, I think, a natural talent. So anyway, I'm going to go because I would like to get a little bit of stitching in before my husband gets home, and then we're going to eat some dinner, go pick up the boys, and that's about it for now. So I know I promised, actually I'm not even going to say that because I think I'm going to get that video up before this one, but I need to get that sampler that I found, that vintage sampler. And tomorrow I'm going to hit the thrift store because Marlene put a challenge out there for us to go save the cross stitches. So I'm going to go see if I can find any any cross stitches to rescue at my thrift store tomorrow. And as far as subscribing, I subscribe to pretty much every Flosstuber that I come across, so I'm already doing that, Marlene. But yeah, I'm gonna go and rescue. Okay, that reminds me of another story. I got one more quick story to tell you. Okay guys, I'm out of my deck, so let's hope that I can get this filmed without my dog not my dog, my neighbor's dog barking, which dog seems to do that quite often, so, or anybody mowing their lawn. So, I don't know, last time I filmed on my deck, I didn't come across as being really loud, because I don't want to talk really loud, so I hope you can hear this. Okay, so this is the haul, or the birthday, yeah, not necessarily haul, but birthday stash acquisitions. So this is the things that I bought with my birthday money. So I went a little crazy with the Buttons and Beads Mill Hill kits. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, yeah. So I shall show them to you. This one's called Moonstruck, and once again, these were all, I was enabled by the Haunted Bat, who had a few of these stitched up, and I loved the way they looked. So I got this one, and Moonlit Kitties, right there, which I love. And then we got Ravens. Some of these are older kits, and some are out of their new series. I think I got a couple of them out of the new ones. So there's that one. And Harvest Home. And then I think these are a couple of the new ones here. Moonlit Treaters. This one was hard to get. I think I had to get on a wait list for it. 1, 2, 3 Stitch was out of stock. So got that one, and then the last one finally is this one, Old Time Harvest. And I love that because my dad actually used to have a truck. It was a 55 Ford, and when I was growing up he had a truck, and it was like almost exactly that same color. Kind of a baby blue like that. So I'm really excited about that. That kind of reminds me of my dad and his old truck, and we used to love to go to the dump. They didn't call it the landfill when we were kids. We called it the dump, and we used to like to go with my dad to the dump. And I always remember we would ride in his truck, his bumpy old truck, to the dump, and then after we dumped all the trash off, then we used to get in the back of the truck and ride home. Which is something that I would never let my kids do today, and I don't think you can do that anyway. I think it's illegal to do that, but not only that, but, you know, after dumping a bunch of trash at the dump and putting your kids back there, yeah, different times, but they were good times. Yeah, I love that old truck, and this really reminds me of my dad. And he passed away in 2013, so it'll be fun stitching that and remembering his old truck. That's what I got. Then these have been on my wish list on 123 Stitch for a long time, and then they were on sale. These I've never heard of this designer before. Diane Grabner, I think is how you say it, but I just love a little goose and a little scarecrow. You can tell I'm really in a Halloween fall mood. Still, I could stitch it all year round. So this one, you can see a little of that chart there. I don't really want to show it, but I looked at the chart, and it looks like the chart is actually hand done. It looks like somebody hand wrote the chart. So, and it's really tiny, so I'm going to have to zoom it in a little bit to be able to see it. And then this is kind of a companion piece, same designer, and the pictures don't do it justice at all. It's a real bad print. I mean, the pumpkins, nothing has any real detail on it, but I think it'll look really cute when it's done, though. I just like the little whole scene is just really cute. So I'll let you know how those go. Yeah, those charts are kind of tedious looking, so, but they're not very big, so I'm sure I can manage. I just need to make them larger, and I think they'll look a little bit better. And then another thing is I was enabled by Lana over at Till the Last Stitch. Hi Lana, I love your videos. If you guys haven't checked out Lana, I think actually as filming this now, when I said earlier in my video that I was going to shout somebody else out, and I couldn't remember who it was. That's who it was. But since then, I know she's had a couple of shout outs from some other people too. So by now you probably have heard about her. But she showed a picture in one of her videos of a it looked like an old barn, and it said Coca-Cola on the side, and I loved it. And so right away, I think she said it was called Rural America. And so as soon as her video was done, I went up and looked online for that one, and I actually did find it. But before I found that one, I was looking for Rural America, and this Stony Creek catalog came up that says this one's called Rural America. And then I found out that the one she had was actually called, I think, Rural Americana. So real similar, but when I saw this one, I loved it even more. So I got this one instead. So it's got, I think, 5 or 6 different patterns, but I just love them all. I just love them. Now, I don't live in rural America, but all of these scenes kind of just remind me of when we go on road trips and stuff like that, and kind of just drive out and see all the old, but this is the one I like the best, is this one right here, which you're saying, wow, that looks familiar, Christine, just like the Schoolhouse that you're stitching by Theresa Wentzler, and you would be right. It almost looks exactly like that, except that it's not quite as detailed, and it's not a school. Is it a school? Oh, it is a school with a bell. I mean, yeah, it's like the exact same scene. You'd think I'd be tired of it now, but I'm not. I like this one too. So, but it's got the little, little chicken, and a church, and a little John Deere tractor. Isn't that cute? So, I guess that one's on the front too. Same one, or is that a different one? No, that's the same one. Oh, I didn't notice it has even a little tire swing. Look at that there. Isn't that cute? So, yeah, I'm going to definitely do that. The little outhouse, isn't that cute? And the barn with the American flag. I just love this all. So, I'm going to maybe stitch something out of here, maybe in July for 4th of July. So, I got that. And then, this one, I see so many designs that are like this, and it's Blackbird Designs. The first time I've ever bought a Blackbird Designs, and this one is called Light Upon the Lawn, right here, and it's from the Loose Feathers series, and I absolutely loved the color blue in that. Now, I didn't want to buy all of the specialty, all of the Weeks Dye Works specialty threads, so I went ahead and just bought just one of the blues that's in the birds, and it's called Blue Jeans, and it's not really all that variegated. So, I mean, it's got a very, very mild variegation to it. You can barely see, but I just wanted to see what it was like, because there's not really enough of any color. But I'm kind of sad because, well, not sad. Sad's not really the word. I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I looked at the colors online for the on 123 Stitch. They list the colors. Actually, no, 123 Stitch didn't list the colors that you needed for this one. They usually do, because you can hit, add all these to your cart. But I had to actually look on another website to see what specific colors these called for. And I thought that Blue Jeans was the one that was going to be used in the house to have the variegation, but it's not. Actually, Blue Jeans, I think, is only used on just a small part of the birds. So I wish I would have gotten this one instead, which I think ends up being like Gray Jay or something like that. I don't know. There was a different blue. But anyway, that's not that big of a deal. I can always order it more, but order it again. So along with that, I always hear everybody talking about doubloon fabric, so I ordered a piece of that also, and I love it. Although I am going to try and dye my own. This is exactly, actually, the effect I would want to get if I was trying my own. I just don't know if I can do it because I haven't experimented enough with it. But I don't know if it's the right size, but I may stitch this on that. So, we'll see. Yeah, because this is actually quite, oops, I guess I'm showing a pattern there. What is that? Oh, the alphabet, I guess. I didn't even notice it had a little letter at the top there. So, yeah, I'm excited to get that, and I still haven't got the digital magazine, the Punchneedle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, but I'm definitely going to get that. I just am holding off buying it until I can sit down and thumb through it. Speaking of primitive, I was laughing at myself on my last clip when I was playing it back on my, put it on my computer to do some editing, and I was laughing at myself when I said that my house wasn't primitive and my husband wasn't primitive. I mean, he is about 4 years older than me, but yes, he's not primitive yet. Let's just put it that way. He's got a far cry from being primitive. So anyway, I was giggling at myself about that. The things you say. And then only one more thing that I got, and this was fun. I ordered this on Amazon, but it was from like another seller on Amazon. It wasn't actually fulfilled or offered by Amazon. It was actually, I ordered it from the Ukraine, and it actually didn't take all that long to get here, but it was so fun because it had all these fun stamps on it. I should cover that up there. Had all these great stamps, and this is what I ordered. Another giraffe pattern with a baby. Look at how cute that is. Very cute. So this is made by Anchor, and you can see it's all in a different language. And it doesn't look real intricate. I wasn't looking for a really intricate giraffe pattern because there's some gorgeous ones out there. What's the one by Jane? I'm going to get that name wrong. Metley, Mayhew, something like that, that you guys all have that book with all the wildlife in it. And that one, I just don't think I would get it done. I don't want to dedicate that much time to it because I think well, what's the other giraffe pattern I said I was going to buy? The one by Tempting Tangles that Garrett showed, Coffee Stitcher showed in his video. That was out of stock, and then they did notify me when it came in stock, and I had already had this one on the way, so I think I'm going to hold off on that. It's on my wish list now, but I'm not sure that I'll get it. But this one I thought was just cute. Oh, and it was kind of fun in the package with that. This is the store. It was plasticmodelstore.com, so there was the business card that came in there, and then on the back of the card it said, "Hello, thank you so much for shopping with us. I'm happy to send you a little souvenir. Ukrainian money," is what it said. And in the package was some Ukrainian money. Isn't that cool? Look at that. So I just thought that was a nice little touch. So that was the name of the store, and it looks like this person is on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, eBay. Yeah, so really fast service from that business. So yeah, very cool. So now I have some Ukraine money. And the last thing that I bought was something not cross-stitch related, but since I talked about it in a previous video, I'll go ahead and show that I got another Zentangling book called The Art of Zentangles, and it's a thick book, and I was thinking about doing a review of this book or a flip through, and I might even do some videos where I show like myself kind of doing some of the tutorials that's in it. But you can see this has a lot of great things that you can do all the way. It starts at the beginning of the book with some really basic stuff, and then just gets more intricate as the book goes on. So it starts with some of the basic stuff. So yeah, this looks like a really fun book, and I definitely haven't had a lot of time to flip through it yet, but if anybody would like to see a flip through of this book, or maybe even me doing, some of the lessons in it, just let me know. And I think that's it. I'm going to stop by probably one more clip here in a few days just to show one last update of the Theresa Wentzler's Schoolhouse, to show you where I'm at with that. So, it's the 16th now, so I'll try to, I think I can probably be done with that in about, give myself maybe 3 or 4 more days, and then I'll stop in and show you how that is. So, okay, that's all for now, guys. Bye. Hi guys, it's Friday, May 19th, and I'm here with the last installment of my update video for you. I may put this before my haul so that I can put my haul at the end and people can log off if they don't want to see that part, and I may just keep it the way it is, so I'll just decide that when I do the editing. So if it seems a bit jumbled, that's why. It's just because I changed my mind. But anyway, let's move on to what I'm here to show you. My Stitch Maynia is complete. It went a little bit past the 15th, but it didn't quite go to the 30th. But I am happy to say that I have a finish. Ta-da. With the Theresa Wentzler, the Schoolhouse is complete. Sort of. And by sort of, what I mean is that the back stitching on this was, well, let's just say I opted not to do a lot of it because it wasn't showing up. It wasn't showing up so much that I couldn't even tell where I backstitched and where I didn't. So I did obviously do the backstitching on the parts that do show, like the roof, the lines on the roof, and kind of outlining the schoolhouse and the tree trunks right here. But there was actually all kinds of backstitching that needed to take place. You may be able to see, you know, sometimes when you hold things up to a camera, it shows more. Like earlier in the clip when I was telling you about that blue floss that I found, that I think it was the Weeks Dye Works floss, and I said that it didn't have any variegation to it at all, but when I played back the video showed that it had all kinds of variegation, so it made me look like I was blind. But really, truly, guys, in real life, it doesn't look like it has any variegation in it, but then on the camera, it really showed up nicely. So back to this. So I'm actually looking at this myself to see, can it benefit from more backstitching? But, you know, I don't think so, because if you could tell, I backstitched around all these windows. Oh, I just realized I forgot to put one last detail in. I forgot to put the bars on the window. What are those little slats that go across it? That needs to be added. Actually, I'm not sure if I'll add those or not. I'll have to see. But that is one touch I have to add. But anyway, you know, I outlined, you know, around this window and then around the inside of the window, and with almost like a beige colored, and I went around all of the details of the doors. But in comparison, I didn't do that on these windows, and I don't know if you can even tell. And that's a lot of extra backstitching for something that's not going to show. I don't know, guys. I think I'm going to call this one done. I mean, I don't mind doing backstitching when it makes a difference in the project, but when you can't even tell that it's there, then I really have a hard time spending time doing it. So I think I'm going to call this one done. Yeah, I know a lot of you are worried, like, wow, she didn't leave very much of a margin there, and I realized that I didn't do that. But I started this project way back, and I know better now, but I'm not worried, because whatever I end up doing with this, you know, if I sew it into something, all I need is really a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch at the most of a seam allowance, and if I frame it, I'll just sew some muslin around the edges to give me something extra to work with, so I'm not too concerned about it. I did cut the tape off and just serged the edges here because I washed this and ironed it. So I am really surprised. A month ago, I would have never thought that I would ever have this finished, because this is one project that I had no intentions of doing, and pretty much, you know, had it checked off as a UFO, and because of a last-minute decision to do Monogamous Stitch Maynia, I ended up having something completed, and I'm really happy about it. So, plans moving forward, and I say loose plans because the minute I turn off this video, they can change. So, loose plans are, I want to get back to Feasting Frenzy, and I was going to upload this video at the end of the month and try to get that done so I can show that finished too, but this video is already getting long. I think it's going to be over an hour, so I'd like to get this up, and I am going to plan on working on Feasting Frenzy. At the very least, I'm going to backstitch the 4 or 5 birds that I just completed, and I don't know if I'll continue, if I might take a little break or go on and continue those last 4 or 5 birds and get that project done. That's what I'd like to do. That's kind of what I'm hoping. Beyond that, I don't have any really major plans. I think I'm just going to see what calls to me, if I'm going to grab out another old whip and start working on it, or start some of the new things that I got. Maybe one of the buttons and beads mill hill kits. I don't know. I'm not really sure at this point, but if you follow me on Instagram, you shall see what I end up doing next, because you'll see it on there before you see my next video. So that's it, guys. If I move this if I move this to the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and do my ending now, and because I didn't do an ending at the end of my haul video. So I just would like to say thank you all for those of you that spent time with me today watching my video, and yeah, I don't know when I'll do another video. I'm thinking I might take the summer off, but I always say that and then I end up coming back. Forget I said that. I don't know. I may come up with another video soon. I may come up with a Zentangling video. I'm not really sure, but you'll see me around one way or another. So thank you all for subscribing, and to my new subscribers, welcome, and old ones that are back visiting me again. I really do appreciate you taking the time watching my video, because there's just so many out there that, you know, it's impossible to really watch them all. So I really appreciate you guys, and have a good stitching day. It's Friday. If I do get this up, it's either Friday or Saturday by the time I get it up, so I hope you're all having a good weekend, and I'll be seeing you around here or Instagram. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.